Hi guys, it's Jules. It is May 23rd, the Tuesday before Memorial Day weekend, and I am very excited because I am about to be off for 5 days in a row. And the last time I tried to take a day off was a few months ago when I think I tried to take a 4-day weekend and I ended up being sick the whole weekend. So I feel pretty good. Not gonna stress too much, just gonna try and stay relaxed and hopefully truly enjoy the 5 days. I'm sure after 2 or 3 days I'll be bored and wanting to go back or do something, but I'm hoping that I'm gonna get a lot of stitchy time over the next 5 days, or honestly the next week or so, and really kind of kickstart my cross stitching again, because I've been a bit on the slow side. I do have a finish that I am going to show you guys a little bit later in the video, but I worked really hard on that all last weekend and finished it up maybe it's Tuesday now. No, I think I finished it up Saturday or Sunday. I think I did a video like last Tuesday or Wednesday, so I'm all confused. I don't know even what day of the week it is. So anyway, so I'm looking forward to doing a lot of stitchy work. There are other projects to do in the house, but I'm going to convert back to my old stitchy routine where I sit down and I stitch for say 45 minutes, get up and clean for 15. That's going to be the goal, and we'll see. My husband has lots of projects that he needs to do as well, so he should be quite busy doing his things, and then I'll get my stuff done. But the biggest thing that I want to do is just literally just get organized again. I say this like every third video. I need to get organized on my cross stitching. If you saw my cross stitching table over here, you would understand why. I finished It's a Good Marriage, but I only had maybe about 6 or 7 color threads for that particular project, and I had them all in a little bag that came with the Lizzie Kate pattern. So that in itself wasn't a mess, but what was a mess was the last time I pulled out my big Old World Map 2, and I'm going to show that again today and kind of show you my progress on that, which is not very much, but that's the project that actually makes the most mess. I tend to spread a lot of threads around. It's the system that I use, and I really need to kind of get a better control of that so that I don't lose things, because I tend to lose things. I lose my colors and things like that all the time, so my little bobbins go running off somewhere. Or, to be perfectly honest, the golden retriever likes to roll them around in her mouth and taste them, and then I find them sticky and stiff somewhere else on the floor. So I think if I'm organized, that happens a lot less. So I can't blame her. She's just being who she is. They're not terribly disciplined, the dogs, and so it's totally fine. So anyway, so in the spirit of the coming weekend, I'm going to show you what I believe to be I think it's my favorite cross stitching shirt. You guys have seen this before, but I'm going to show it again because it's a holiday weekend. So weekend forecast cross stitch with no chance of house cleaning or cooking. Now, there's a little bit of chance of the house cleaning part, but it's stuff that needs to be done, and if I don't do it now, I gotta do it later, and that'll take away from stitchy time and another week, and I don't want to do that. I'm trying to keep up with things. I'm trying to be good. Some personal stuff. I think you guys like a lot of this stuff, but the bees are doing fantastic. They are just kicking it out here, even though we had that snow. Believe it or not, we did have snow last week. When I mentioned in my last video that there was a forecast of potential foot, it was pretty disappointing. We got like an inch. It was an inch that stuck, but it did snow for like over a 24-hour period. I can't remember exactly which day it was. I think it was Thursday or Friday. I can't remember, but it did snow. But it just the ground got a lot of water, but in the end we only got an inch. My uncle is up in Estes Park, which is a mountain town on the north side of Colorado, and they got about 3 feet. And to show you kind of how quickly the weather changes, it's warmed up, it's been raining, and virtually the roads are all clear now. There's not very much snow anywhere. which is good because it's Memorial Day weekend and there's a lot of people that's going to be going up there, so they don't want it to be too crazy. But back to the bees. The bees did great. It wasn't really that cold, and they did really, really well. Last time my husband and I went together to go do a check, they were just going crazy. They were very industrious, and you could tell that they were working really hard, and honestly faster and harder working than the one hive we had last year. I mean, all of our hives are doing great, which is just awesome. So hopefully we're going to have a ton of honey later this year to share with friends and family, and maybe even try to, honestly, we might sell a little bit just to try to get some of our costs back, because it's an expensive hobby to get into. Although that's not why we got into it. We got into it because of the conservation, helping the bees, helping the environment, and it's just so fascinating. It's just so fascinating to watch them. But I wanted to show you something, because my husband went the other day to go check on the bees, and he brought back a bunch of comb that, here, let me show you, just the inside, the yellow stuff. This basically, it is the honeycomb, and it is, let me show you just basically what it is. It's very, very light, and this is the little structure that the bees make, and they put the honey in there, or it's also where the queen can lay her eggs for new bees to be hatched out and whatnot. And sometimes when the bees are in the process of establishing a hive, they can get a little overzealous with laying this down, and they'll lay it down in places where it will obstruct things in the future. So when we go in there and things are put down where they shouldn't, we kind of shave it off just to keep things a little bit more neat and tidy for everyone. So, but we're gonna keep a bunch of our honeycomb. This is the package that we got the bees. At one point, basically, when we first got the bees, it was like maybe 2/3 of this entire thing was just packed, filled with bees. And that's when we had them in the garage. We had 5 of these in the garage, and it was pretty interesting. It was a lot of fun, but it was definitely pretty interesting. I'm certainly glad they're in their hives now. So, I haven't mentioned swimming in a while. Swimming is going great. For those of you who don't know, I used to be terrified of the water. Never really knew how to swim. Didn't know the first thing about being comfortable in the water, and I've been taking swimming lessons, and I haven't had a swimming lesson in about a month or so, maybe a little longer. But I'm still swimming. We're still going to the gym in the early mornings, although we didn't do it yesterday because Sunday night was very stressful. I'll get to that in a second, but pretty much I just wasn't in the mood Monday morning to go. I'll probably definitely go Friday morning. And tomorrow morning, we'll see about that. My husband is got a very, very late night tonight, and probably won't be home in a decent hour enough for us to get up and go to the gym. I could do it by myself, and maybe I will, but I don't know. We shall see. But I just got new nose plugs. Are they here? Can I show you my nose plugs? Because they're really cute, and they're embarrassing. But I have a problem when I swim where, you know, when you're underwater, you're supposed to blow out, and a lot of people will blow out with their nose. I can't control the flow of air. There's something about the back of my head here that doesn't work quite right. So I have to breathe through my mouth and blow out when I'm underwater, and that works really well. But more times than not, I'll always get a little trickle of water that will try to make its way up in the back of my nose, or actually it probably goes this way and trickles down. And because of that, I can only manage a certain amount of swimming that way at a time before I start choking and have to, you know, stand up or get out of the water or whatever. So got the nose plugs, and basically it just goes over. Yeah, you guys are gonna see this. So it just looks like this, and that's how a nose plug is. Ow. So I got some different pretty colors of nose plugs, and I'm going to give that a shot. So I'm going to try that and see if that's a more effective way, more efficient way for me to swim. And then if I can do that, then my freestyle will be so much better. And then I can go back and have a lesson, because I don't feel like I've progressed with that at all. And I don't want to go back for another lesson to relearn something that I should have already learned how to do. So, you know, hopefully I'll go back in June for at least another lesson. This time learn the breaststroke, the one that's like this, I think. because he promised me that that would be the next lesson that we would have. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun. So talking about why I had such a hard time Sunday night, I was tired, and we had some. I had some bad fishy experiences. You guys know, if you've been following the last couple of weeks, that I'm kind of getting into aquariums as a hobby, and fish as a hobby. And when I get a hobby, I tend to kind of jump into it 2 feet first. Now, thankfully with this, I haven't jumped into getting a ton of fish and then having issues. It's more of, I've gotten a few fish and I keep having certain things happen, and I'm trying to get more aquariums set up. But the problem with aquariums is that they're really heavy. And even a 10-gallon aquarium filled with water is like 120 pounds or something like that. And I have a 20-gallon. I have a couple of 20 gallons. I have one that's full and another one that I'd like to fill up. And the 20-gallon one is, it's 250 pounds. And trying to find something to set that on without it being in danger of breaking, and also being efficient for the space that it's in, is really hard. And we went to Home Depot and Lowe's looking for some super duper strong shelving, and it just we thought we had some good stuff. We thought it was the right thing to do, and then we brought it home and we set it up, and then we moved the 20-gallon tank, and I put the rest of the water in it. I basically had to drain about 3/4 of the water in order for us both to kind of lift the tank up to put it on the new shelving. And then by the time I put the water all back in, I mean, you could just instead of being like, wait, let's see here, how can I do this? There's the camera. So instead of being like all straight, it was like bowing. You could see it was bowing, and I just got irritated because I'm like, well, we can't leave it like this. So I had to drain the water out again, and we had to move the tank again. And so finally I just agreed to what we should have done from the beginning, which was have my husband actually just make the stands. There are a lot of very simplistic, strong stand plans that are out there that just use basic wood, and so that's something that he's going to start working on. But thankfully, because he has to still do it, I'm just pausing on the aquarium thing for a little bit, just because I don't want to, if we're going to move everything again, I don't want to fill a bunch of tanks back up and have the issues. So I still have the 20-gallon tank. I lost my shark bait, which was my balloon molly. He had a terrible filter accident, which I felt horrible about, and it was probably at least a day before I realized that he was stuck where he was stuck. And so I hope it was quick, because the last thing, I mean, I just hate the idea of hurting something. I'm one of those, Buddhist type people that everything has its own thing, and I, shouldn't harm anything. I don't like to kill ants. The only thing I like to kill are mice when they get in the house. And my husband can tell you that. It's like the only thing that I have no mercy for. But the balloon molly died, and I was very saddened. And then, I had moved the betta. It's a betta, not a beta. It's a betta, apparently. Moved the betta into a smaller aquarium, and was working on kind of cleaning out the water a little bit in there. And the filters that I'm using are actually like homemade filters that it's like a do-it-yourself kind of thing that work really, really well, except when they don't, which is when I am not paying attention to how I construct it, and I leave a space where a fish could potentially get sucked up and get caught, which is what happened with the betta. That was very emotionally distressing. And we were up there working on organizing the shelving, and I noticed that he wasn't in the tank. I couldn't see him in the tank, and then I saw him stuck in the filter. And my husband was like, well, maybe he's not dead. And I'm like, he's discolored. He's normally like a vibrant blue-red, and he's on the white side. He's very limp. But I went ahead and I reached in the tank, and I grabbed a hold of his little fins, and I kind of pulled him out very gently. And he floats up to the top of the tank, and he's just kind of floating there, and nothing's happening. And I will admit it, I did chest compressions on my betta. I reached in, took his little body, put him under the water, and then just just did that. Got him up, swirled him around in the water to kind of make the air go through his, you know, his gills to give him some oxygen, and then did that maybe 3 times, and let him go. He's still just floating there like nothing's going on. So we moved on and went to do other things, and then about 10 minutes later I looked back and he was moving. Don't ask me how. Don't ask me how. I have no idea. But his little side fins were like flipping around, and so I put him in a much smaller little container so that he wouldn't have to worry about keeping himself afloat too much. And I'll be gosh darn if that thing isn't still alive and doing just fine. That's amazing. It is amazing. It's hard to kill those things. Not that I was trying, even though he did kill a couple of my other fish, you know. But anyway, that was the crazy story of the week. I kind of can't believe that happened. Let's move on to stitching, and I hope that you haven't been sitting there going, oh my god, please talk about stitching, because that's what this video is supposed to be all about. Well, not really. I'm just talking. I'm just rambling. You know, if you get bored, you can look at the stitchy wall, I suppose. Anyway, I'm sorry about that, but all right, a good marriage. 'Tis done. Marathon sessions. Whoa, hello, I just kicked the camera. And away you go. And away you go. Are you right there? Are you right there? There you are. See, I keep looking in the wrong spot for the camera. So here's a good marriage. And there's that. So I love the colors. I just love the colors. And I know because people like to have these things read out. I'll read it for you. It says, a good marriage must be created. The little things are the big things. You're never too old to hold hands. Remember to say, I love you every day. Don't go to bed angry. Say words of appreciation and gratitude. Forgive and forget. Give each other a safe place to grow. Marriage is not only marrying the right person, it is being the right partner. And truer words were never put on a cross stitch. This is for my in-laws, my husband's parents, who are having their 50th wedding anniversary in July, and who will, and we're going down there to see them. They're in Florida, and it'll be my husband and I's. It'll be our first wedding anniversary, and their 50th, and so it's something that we're very excited, and we're very excited to give that to them, and I know they'll appreciate that. So let's move on to my whips. Whip it, whip it, whip it. All right, what is that? Does anybody else find random strands everywhere? I do, everywhere. What a waste, what a waste. All right, Yoda. Got a little bit of extra progress on Yoda. I like to show it just because I think he's cool. He's sort of the matching thing to the Darth Vader one up here. So, I think I've mentioned before that they have a Han Solo one, but it's just not nearly as good. But I'm keeping my eyes open if they do any more in that style. That would be really, really cool. Gonna show you my nemesis, which is Apothecary Shop. Show you how little I've done. As you can see. Although that's more than the last time I think I showed it. I got all the way across. And so, but, yeah. I need to really mess with this fabric. It's like so stiff. Because it's stiff because I'm still on the first page. So, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I also want to show you this one, because this is one I want to get back to. And this is, I think, Rainy Day in London or something like that. Or, yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest with you. This is one I want to get back to, because I haven't gotten to the really interesting part of this one yet. I still have almost 2 pages on the top section up here. But you can see, especially the further back I get. Well, the light's on it. But the interesting part of this is going to be further down. Let me show you how big. Toro! You can see how big it's going to be. It's all wrinkly. It's all wrinkly because it's been smooshed in a bag and I haven't done anything with it. Alright, what else do I have here? And then I told you that I was going to show you my old world map too, despite the fact that I haven't done very much on it. But I want to show it to you because I want to remind you guys how gigantor this thing is. And I have threads kind of falling all over this. Oh, hey, was that a needle? Yes, it was. Oh, my goodness gracious. That was not very nice, was it, to have a needle out there like that? All right, so this is what it looks like right now. And I'm gonna zoom in a little bit for you. There we go. So that's what it looks like right now. And I'm gonna step back. I'm not gonna be able to show you the whole thing. I'm just not. There's just, well, if I do, you know what? I'm moving the camera. I'm moving the camera, guys. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Moving the camera. It's because, all right, if I do that, nope, nope, nope. Wait, oh, get over here. Can I do that? Can you see? Can you see how big it is? Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I mean, what are we supposed to, how are we supposed to take care of these things? And how am I supposed to finish this ever? I mean, it's crazy. It's just crazy. All right, sorry for the motion sickness. I'm gonna put this back down. Gonna kind of finish up here. So plans tonight. Tonight really should be about just getting things organized and attempting to try to get some sort of idea of how I want to progress now that I have this. My finish is done, and I don't have anything else that is even close to being done. I mean, nothing that I can get done quickly unless I start something new. And I do have a few Lizzie Kates that I could do, but I don't want to do them just yet. I'm going to hold off on those. I'm going to work on these big projects. Some progress needs to be made on some of these bigger ones that have been kind of stalled for a while. And so I think that's just my goal. But, you know, what I hope to do is just be able to sit down and just stitch, you know, for at least, honestly, if I could do 3 or 4 hours in a day, I'd be pretty happy. And it used to be when I was single and had only a dog or two, you know, stitching was something that I could do for a long period of time. But nowadays, I've definitely gotten, well, you know, my husband's here, although he doesn't distract me. He does his own thing. It's not a big deal. I'm usually trying to talk to him. But there are more dogs, there are bigger dogs, and there are just more responsibilities and distractions, and I'm definitely a squirrel kind of person. And so that'll be kind of something to work on. But yeah, I just hope I can focus on that and get a lot of stuff done. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you guys have a great, if you're in the United States, I hope your Memorial Day weekend is calm and peaceful. To those in the UK, my heart goes out to you guys for what just happened in Manchester yesterday. I have a close friend who used to live in Manchester, but is now living in Oxford, and that whole situation is just terrible. But Memorial Day here in the States is recognizing those who have lost their lives in defense of the country, or as a member of the military, basically. And it's one of those things where it should be a more somber holiday, and I usually spend a lot of time watching old war movies and things like that. If you're looking for a good movie, a really great movie to watch over this Memorial Day weekend, and you haven't seen it, and you are okay with war movies, because this one it's not gratuitously violent, but it is somewhat realistic, and it's very heart-wrenching. And it's called, I think it's called Hacksaw Ridge. It just came out last year and was nominated for a bunch of Oscars, and it is really good. I would highly recommend it. And but anyway, I hope everyone stays safe and is able to stitch as much as they can or want to. And I will see you in the near future with another video and hopefully more progress. So you guys have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon.